Cerakote has some cool documentation about using a fiber laser to change the color of coating without having to do multiple actual colors. I was curious whether I could achieve this on a cheap diode laser. So for the first test, I just have a scrap panel of aluminum flashing that I sprayed with some excess color when I was doing some work earlier. I'm going to use that panel taped nice and flat to just run a test of different engraving patterns. You can see the pattern in the cardboard below. That is the engraving pattern that I use for cardboard. I figured that's a decent starting point for Cerakote over aluminum flashing, simply because there were no numbers for me to look up. All the numbers online for this process relate to more powerful fiber lasers. While these are interesting results and they do point towards promise, one of the big negatives of the diode laser is that its focal distance is going to be very impactful on the end result quality that you get. So if you don't have optimum focal distance, you're potentially looking at bad results. The reason I bring that up is guns are not flat objects in a lot of cases. So let's imagine that we are going to do a engraving on a AR lower magwell area. We have that T-shape to contend with. And although there is a little bit of clearance under the laser, if we set it to optimal focal distance, it's going to run into that T-shape. So I'm going to run a second test on the back of this panel, and we're going to raise it up by 0.11 inches to simulate what the results look like with the same paths, but with a non-optimal focus. These are still definitely usable results, and we do have crisp edges still. What I would do if I was trying to operationalize this next, this stuff in the 50-60% range isn't really usable. I would probably do more granular increments between 20 and 40%, maybe in like 2% increments, to find out where I can do usable multiple colors, so I could have like my base color and then 2 variations done with laser. But I'm not operationalizing it. This was just for fun, so it's doable. Slight update on the test panels. If you wipe them, a lot of what that dark color was just debris. So it looks definitely different. This is the one where we elevated it, and this is the one where we did not. I don't think it changes my recommendation for further experimentation. I would probably still do smaller increments in the 20 to 40% power range at 4,000 all the way up to 6,000. That's where I'd still experiment, but definitely interesting.